No music good this week. Apparently, all the
Wow,
music,
that's crazy. It wasn't working.
yeah, all everything got disconnected.
Oh, that's wild.
But
Okay.
whatever. We're
You know
here.
what I'm saying? We roll with it. We roll with it.
You know what I mean? We'll figure it out. We
Yeah,
here
we
all.
got this. We got this.
But you know what's not? What is there?
This original beat that somebody made.
Yeah, the original beat that was made by a human.
Hey,
uh,
look, man. Hey, check out this dope beat. You know what I'm saying?
I made it
Original.
myself.
Yeah, man. From scratch.
Yeah. Forget that it sounds familiar. I don't. You never heard of that guy.
What? It sounds familiar to you. That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, man, how you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing good. You know, it always feels a little better the closer you get to football season, man. You know, that's how I feel. It feels like football is upon us, Mark, and it feels great. It's my favorite time of year.
Hey, man, don't try to put football. Don't try to put that on football. You know you hype because pumpkin spice lattes is coming back. You ready?
That's wild. That's a wild accusation. That's crazy. That's crazy. Pumpkin spice latte? Do I look like a pumpkin spice latte person?
Yes.
Do I look like a latte person? Let's start there. Let's start there before we start delving into pumpkin spice. Dog.
Hey, man, you know, like, come on, man. Hey, chat, what up? How you guys doing? I see there's people in here. Doesn't my friend look like a pumpkin spice type of guy? Doesn't he look like
crazy? That's
like? Don't he look like he the dude that'd be like, "Yo, extra phone, please"?
Absolutely not, man. That's crazy. Extra foam is wild. Nah.
He be
First
right.
off, I don't even like coffee. And then I drink black coffee. I drink black coffee because I intermittent fast.
Because you're a
zero
real
calories till noon. 0 calories till noon. It's coffee and that's it. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no sugar in it. There ain't nothing in it. There definitely ain't no extra foam in it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
You're a real man.
I don't know what kind of drinks you be ordering, Mark, but don't put that on me, man.
Because I feel you.
Do not put that on me.
Black coffee, no sugar, no cream, right? Right?
Yeah, exactly. You heard what the man said. You know who said it. You know, the most light skinned. Okay, never mind. You know what I'm saying? Hey, well, actually, no, we ain't gonna do no heavy D slander around here. We're not doing no heavy D slander. But yeah,
man, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, dog.
I will not slander his name just to defend myself against the slanderous remarks that are coming my way. You know, I'm not gonna pay the slander forward, Mark. That's what I won't do.
I don't know what slander you're talking about.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna pay the slander forward. Simple.
Hey, what?
You know what I'm talking about. You can say you don't know, but you know what I'm talking about. So.
Yeah, man. Don't you own a pair of Uggs?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yo, as a fellow Timberland boot wearer, that's a wild accusation. That's even more wild than a pumpkin spice latte. I'm not like I know somebody who would buy a pair of Uggs purely because they're a Tom Brady fan.
I could have sworn you own a pair of Uggs, man.
Nah, absolutely not. This is crazy, Mark. I don't even understand why you would say these things about me, man. I thought we was cool, brother. I thought we was cool.
Hey, man.
Clearly not. That's not the case, though.
Hey, man, it's all right, bro. But anyway, we got a great show for you guys. We're going about to get into it now. We got Noah Lyles going up. Still talking. He did an interview recently with Shannon Sharp. We got Duplessis versus Adesanya. Anthony Edwards claims players are more skilled today than they were in the past. And we also have, football's getting started. So we want to know what type of things you guys are looking forward to in the upcoming season. Sean, where would you like to start?
Shoot, man. First topic. Yeah, let's just start with the Noah Lyles shit. I was trying to find a way to where we could just start with the Adesanya stuff go into Noah Lyles, then go into the Anthony Edwards, this is basketball topics. Like, look, man, we gotta talk. I want to talk about this Noah Lyles shit right off the bat. So, for those of you who aren't familiar, Noah Lyles did the nightcap show with Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco. And when he was on there, they asked him. They asked him about the, Tyreek Hill. Hey, I can beat you in a race type thing. And the man said he wasn't familiar with who Tyreek Hill was. Didn't know who he was. Straight up, I don't know him. Right? Fair enough. Maybe it's bravado. Maybe it's, maybe it's one of those things. Like Kobe. I was reading something recently. It reminded me that Baron Davis was saying he tried to warn Kobe about Jeremy Lin during the Linsanity shit, and Kobe was just like not concerned. And then before the game, Kobe said they asked him in the interview about Jeremy Lin. He said, "I don't know who that is." Right? He knew who he was. He is Kobe. He was just like, "I don't know who that is." Right? So maybe it was that. And then they asked this man about the Jokic thing. He said, "Hey, man, do you think Jokic is a top basketball player, one of the best basketball players in the world?" And he paused for a second, and you could tell that he was thinking about what to say. And then he just said, "I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Jokic." And he was actually being genuine in that moment, and you could see that he really didn't know who the heck Jokic was. And I was just like, "So you don't know who any of these guys are, but yet you feel qualified to say things like, they're not world champs when they win." And you have a lot of it. I've never seen somebody have such a strong opinion on something that they know absolutely nothing about, Mark. And it really bothered the hell out of me. It bothered me when he first said it. It bothered me. I felt like he was just saying it for clout in the beginning,
Uh-huh.
right? He was saying it to big himself up. And, some people, they can big themselves up without putting people down. But he just seemed like a guy that's the way he goes about it. I'm going to big myself up by putting people down. And I felt that in the beginning. And then lo and behold, he comes and proves me right. He proves people like me and you right. Like, he's exactly who we thought he was, man. But that's just to explain the situation, Mark. How do you feel about it?
Um, I don't like what he said. I don't. I mean, I don't. I mean, I didn't like what he said before, obviously,
Yeah,
but I don't like the fact that like it was. It's further confirmed of what place it was coming from when when you don't know nothing about the sport. But I also this was a conversation that I also got into with Tamika about the Noah Lyles thing, and and she feels she feels as though she understands him as many people do seem to understand him, but like I don't think they understand the place that he was coming from with it. But they like on the words itself, they like, how can you call yourself world champions when you don't go up against the world when you are in like everything you do is inside the United States. And this is where Shannon Sharp was trying to lead him with the Nikola Jokic thing was, hey man, it may take place here in the United States, but the best players in the world participate in this. Nikola Jokic, who is one of the best players in the world, and if you knew anything about the sport, you would know that he's not an American. He's he he's only been over here for basketball.
yeah. He
And
leaves the moment his season is over. He goes
right,
right back, like right back to
exactly.
Serbia. Yeah,
So so though he is a part of the world. Wembenyama is a part of the world. These are all players that are a part of the world. We've explained this before on the show, so there's no need to go heavily into it, but you get the point. Um, and like people in general are just caught up on the fact that it's about excuse me, but people are in general are just caught up on the fact that all right, sorry.
yeah. No,
Look,
go ahead, continue. I was letting you get to your point.
yeah, nah, but yeah, it was just continuously about the fact that, well, it takes place in America. It's not like every
It's an
team,
American league. It's not a world
every
league.
team is in America, and I'm like, you, like honestly, like let's just be honest, and this is a different conversation, but this isn't like these teams could move tomorrow. Um, the Sixers are talking like they're not really a representation. The players, they don't represent Philly as much as they represent the Sixers brand. Sixers could move to Jersey tomorrow. In fact, there's a conversation of them possibly moving to Jersey because the owner's not getting his way, and the possibility of the owner not getting his way and being able to move the team to downtown Philadelphia. Then it's like, well, I might move the team to Jersey. Like, so
Yeah,
there's no affiliation or loyalty or I guess ownership that the city has of these teams. So it's not like they are. You could say, well, it takes place in America because the Sixers, if they could make money and have a stadium in Germany, that's where it would be. If they could make a crap ton of money in Germany, it would be the Germany Sixers. It don't matter. Like what matters is the players that's in it, and the fact and no one else doesn't understand that. He doesn't understand. Like if he had made this statement in the '80s or the '90s, I would completely understand, and he would have a point because the league is full of Americans. Like,
yeah. It
you know what I mean?
It wasn't an international. You didn't see very many international players in the NBA. So
Right.
yeah,
So if he said that in the '80s and the '90s, in the early '90s,
yeah,
it would have made sense. It doesn't make sense in 2024. There's far too
yeah,
many there's far too many players from far too many places in the NBA for his statement to make sense. And him not knowing that these foreign players that are in the NBA just goes to prove that point. So
yeah, yeah. So yeah, for me, yeah. Obviously, we agree. His comments don't make sense. It didn't make sense from the time that he said it. You know what I mean? So with that said, finding this out and already feeling like it was coming from a place of just kind of me kind of deal. Yeah, no, it's not a surprise. Yeah, I'm not surprised by this at all. But it just, I guess it what upsets me more now after he's said these things is it just upsets me the number of people that were defending it, the number of people that gave this legs, and you have the media here, and they're so quick to question anything that a player says in the media, right? And for whatever reason, this one person gets to say the wildest things, Mark, and nobody checks him. Nobody asked him any tough questions. Nobody really challenged him on what he was saying throughout the media, and then they sensationalized it. So I felt like, I was disappointed in how the media handled the situation. The only people that seemed to speak up were the basketball players themselves.
well,
And then, people.
that's not true. Stephen A. flip flopped on it.
Well,
He flip flopped on it, and a lot of certain media they gave him pushback until the Team USA lost FIBA. When Team USA lost FIBA, then they was like, oh well, maybe he has a point, but like that still is not the point because
yeah,
the NBA is made up of the world. Team USA isn't a true representation of the NBA. Team USA is a representation of the American players within the NBA.
okay. Well, then let me get specific. Then, specifically, the way that some of them handled it was, well, he's the best player in the world. So he could say that.
But yeah,
You know, he is a world champion because he's competing in world competitions, and then you know he gets his gold medal in the Olympics, and they say, well, he is the best in the world, and he can honestly say he's the best in the world at what he's doing. So I understand where he's coming from. Like I felt like the media at the time was they were agreeing with him on the principle of, well, he himself has gotten gold medals and won world competitions in sprinting.
Well, not yet, but you know.
Well, I'm not just talking about the Olympics. I'm just saying, like, yeah, like going into the Olympics, he had already, you know, beaten people, you know, in one competition. That's what I'm saying. Like, but the point is, they were saying that is the reason why he's allowed to ask that question, and that is the reason why he's allowed to say what he said. And it's like, so you're accepting, but you're giving your response based on the context of his situation, but it completely ignoring the context of the NBA situation, and that's where I had the issue.
Okay, well,
yeah, that's what it felt like to me, to be more specific. But yeah, so and then now it's like, okay, this comes out, and it's like, okay, whatever. Like this should be a bigger deal,
right?
Because he, you know, this has been made a big deal already.
Well, yeah, I feel you. But I mean, it is what it is. We know what type of guy, what type of thing he was looking for there, and he pretty much got that response. So he got this to sensationalize it, and got the response he was looking for. But another person that put their foot in their mouth or said some things that people would tend to agree with would be Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards claims players are more skilled today, and Sean, you have more of the quote of what he said there. You know what he said there.
I'm just gonna bring it up and read it directly. So yeah, here it is. It says Anthony Edwards, I guess when asked about the skill growth in the NBA, his response was, they say it was tougher back then than it is now, but I don't think anybody had skill back then. Michael Jordan was the only one that really had skill. So that's why when they saw Kobe Bryant, they were like, oh my God. But now everybody has skill.
Well, that's a wild statement, man.
Yeah, like I don't want to misquote. I want to have the full context and quote of what he said. So we're not just trying to, you know, we're not clickbaiting anything here. We're not taking anything out of context. Yeah. You did miss the Noah Lyles. We just finished the Noah Lyles nonsense. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, man. The thing is, him saying that, I just said to myself. Well, I didn't say to myself. I also said in your post. I was like, I think Larry Bird might have some words for him. Like,
yeah, Magic Johnson might have something to say.
I don't. Yeah, but look. This is going to be a personal note, though. This is just a personal thing. Magic Johnson was he was manufactured, though.
First off, Mark, I don't want to do this on today's podcast. I don't think people understand how I feel about Magic Johnson. When people tell me that Magic Johnson is a top 10 player of all time, I disagree vehemently. But I don't want to turn this into a "we hate Magic Johnson" show, so I'm gonna keep those opinions to myself. I am going to say that when you compare him to the players of his era, he was skilled. Okay. Yeah. Do I think Bird was way more skilled? Yes, I do. Do I think Jordan was way more skilled? Yes, I do. I even think Dominique Wilkins was more skilled. I think you can also say. You can look at guys like Olajuwon, You can look at guys like there's a bunch of guys. Even the big men were skilled to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Like you can name a bunch of players that were skilled back then. So this is, yeah, I think it's crazy, man. He said, "What? I come into nastiness. I had to delete my original comment. Magic top 10." Hey, look, man.
Hey,
Mark, do you agree with me? People don't really want to have that conversation.
I don't. Hey, man. Like I said, I don't really want to have that conversation. Like I said, it's just my personal belief, man.
I don't want to. I don't want to have the conversation. Would I absolutely enjoy having the conversation? Yes, I would, Mark. Yeah, but we're not going to go there. But that's also tied into my hate for the Lakers as an organization.
It's a lot tied into it, but that's besides the point. Like,
no, we're not going to talk about the Magic stuff, man. Let's get off that.
Yeah. That's beside the point. The point being is that there's players from the past that had skills and would still their skills from back then would translate to today and still keep them as a top tier player that would have words to say to what Anthony Edwards is talking about. Look, man, there's a reason why Kareem Skyhook is what it is. Kareem could come today and you will still get cooked by that Skyhook. I don't like it is what it is.
They can't even deal with Jokic doing hook shots, man. What do you think they're gonna do with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Right.
At 7'1", 7'2" with a hook shot. What you gonna do about that? Nothing.
What is Ant gonna do when this very normal dad bod white dude comes on the court and is just like, yo, I'ma shoot every shot with my left and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
He said, yeah. Yo, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, man. It's crazy because this is one of the things, as much as I have a love-hate relationship with Luka, right? But it's all the things that I dislike about Luka. What I do like is Luka is a perfect example of why Larry Bird would be able to play today and cook. Luka is a perfect example. You guys want to know what an unathletic, taller white dude that can shoot looks like? You know what I'm saying? That can pass the ball, that has a high basketball IQ. You want to know what he would do in the league today with full of athletes? He would be Luka Doncic. Like, that's what he would do. Like,
and here's the thing, man. This is something that we talked about earlier. Like, Anthony Edwards, like, I think, and a lot of the young guys, they get enamored and they talk about certain things like, oh, like Kyrie, for instance, Kyrie had better handles or having a better crossover than AI or like just those type of conversations. They get enamored with all the different skills and tricks that all these new players have in their bag, and they like, this guy couldn't do that, AI couldn't do that, and AI, because he respects the growth of the game, he'll say the same stuff. But the truth of the matter is, AI will get to the basket faster and more efficiently than Kyrie Irving will every single time.
Every single time.
Every single time, AI will get to the basket faster and more efficiently than Kyrie Irving will. Kyrie Irving is going to stop, dribble, do a couple moves, and then get past you. AI, it's one move and I'm gone. Like, it's happening too fast. It's not a bunch of dribbles. There's not a dribble package there. It is an efficient move that is just cooking you every single time. Like,
yeah, it's so crazy, man. They had that discussion on Gil's Arena, and he was overdoing it a little bit with the AI talk. But I understood his point. His point he was trying to make was, look, man, everybody downs on AI now. Nowadays, the new generation looks at AI like, look, man, he was an inefficient 6'2" guard, blah 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 blah. They go in on that. The young cats do not think AI was that great. right? And he's like, look, man, his crossover, as simple as it was so effective. They literally banned what he was doing. They banned it after his second season. And then he's like, yo, he's like, you know, when they removed the ban? The season right after he retired.
Yep.
It's what they call a hang. That's what they call a hang dribble crossover. Like, you can do, that's a legal move now. Like, they made it illegal for the entirety of this man's career just to make sure it was too effective. That man came in rookie year averaging 30. Like you said, it was the efficiency of what he was doing. He didn't have, you could say, like you said, he could say he didn't have that bag. He didn't need it. He didn't need it.
They didn't need it at all.
People confuse it when they say, oh, this person didn't do that, or they didn't. Maybe you didn't see them do it, not because they couldn't, because they didn't have to.
Right. Now,
you know
listen, I want everybody to understand, for anybody that plays racquetball, you're going to immediately understand this if you play racquetball or handball with an older guy. If you play these games with an older guy, or like when I was young, I played a lot of racquetball and a lot of handball. Now, you play these games with an older guy, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm about to cook this old dude. He can't keep up with me. There ain't nothing he can do with me. I get, like, I'm faster, stronger, blah, 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 blah. I know all these tricks. And I'm bouncing the ball off of the back wall to the front wall. I'm moving back and forth, this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, this old dude hasn't moved. He is standing in the middle of the court, just hitting everything I got. And I am...
Hey, like I said, ping pong ball, boy. You just go back and forth like this.
Like I'm starting to sweat and everything, and this dude, and he's just pop, efficient, and making me work for it. That's the difference, man, and it happens to every young dude. Like the efficiency of what they're doing, and just the skill, not just the knowledge of the game is different. Like, yeah, the guys today rely heavily on their athleticism.
Yes.
Particularly American players today rely heavily on their athleticism in their package. In their package.
And I'll say this, Mark, to be very clear, when people talk about the players having a bag and their package and all that stuff, everything that they do, there's a bit of athleticism involved in it, right? This is one thing that I know I'm not going to say we trash on Carmelo a lot, but, I just feel like we have a realistic view of him. But one thing I can tell you is this. Don't do that. Anyway, one thing I can tell you is this. Melo is a perfect example of somebody that was skilled. Like, Melo is considered to be one of the greatest scorers that the NBA's ever seen, specifically because he can get to his spot and he can get the shot that he's looking for in 2 or 3 dribbles.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen, like, yes, let's say Carmelo is a ball. They say he was a ball stopper. He was. He's standing at the top of the key, dribbling the ball. Not doing any moves. He's just standing up there dribbling. But the second Carmelo decides to make a move, it's a wrap. You already know. One fake here, one dribble here, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? It's a wrap. You can't guard that. You already know he's going to do something, and he's going to pull up within the 2 or 3 seconds. KD does the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Certain guys are what people think, oh man, this person's doing this, that, and the third. They're skilled. You see Kyrie, he dribbled this way, he did all this stuff, which it takes talent to do that. But I think there's more skill in what KD does in what somebody like a Joe Johnson or Carmelo did. You know what I'm saying? If I can beat you with 1 or 2 dribbles and a couple of fakes here and there and get a clean shot every single time, Kobe used to do it too. Like, you know what I'm saying? That there's more skill involved with the less movement, to your point, Mark. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like
I think people confuse it. So like, yeah, but Anthony Edwards,
being focused on having a bunch of skills versus having an efficient skill is like it's the same thing in like they talk about in martial arts and other stuff. Like, bro, like having all these moves is not as good as the like having 1,000 moves is not as good as the person that practices one move 1,000 times.
yes,
It's not, and that's basically what you got. These guys, those older guys, man, their technique was more efficient. They're not worried about it hitting the net. You're gonna see 1,000 bait shots and watch them Jones go in.
yeah.
Like that joint gonna go off the backboard. It's gonna go in. They ain't worried about it going off the net every time. That ain't it.
Hey, my uncle, I played my uncle Kai, man, and I'm never gonna forget this. I think I told you this before, Mark. Bro, I went to Florida. I was like 16 years old. Went to Orlando, visit family. We about to go to Disney, all that, whatever. He had dreads all the way down to his ankles. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he had it. So mind you, he's at the court, and on this particular day, he had his hair down. He didn't even have it in the hat, bro. He had it so he couldn't really move because like he's trying not to step on his hair and shit. Bro, he had flip flops on, Mark. You know what I'm saying? Flip flops. And he's like, yo, I'll play you. Like, you can't beat me. I'm like, you crazy. I'm 16. I'm nice. You can't. Mark, cooked me. All pump fakes, hook shots, and bank shots. That man missed 2 shots the whole game, Mark. Cooked me, dog. I couldn't do nothing, bro. I was like, this is nonsense, man. But there's a skill gap. He's like, yo, I'm old, but I still have skills. That's one thing I think has to be like mentioned. Skills don't dissipate.
They don't love Paul Pierce like that.
He said, nah. But yeah,
Draymond Green proved that they don't love Paul Pierce like that.
The difference between I think people confuse skills with talent, and the difference between the skills and talent is usually athleticism based. Hey, that's crazy. That's funny. Bro, I will pull up a picture of my uncle right now, and you're gonna be like, "That's wild. That's wild." But yeah, but nah, I'm gonna find that picture. But what I'm saying is, people confuse skills with talent. Talent is usually typically more based in athleticism. It's connected to a level of athleticism, and skills is something that doesn't dissipate when you get older. It only sharpens. Your skills don't dissipate when your athleticism fades. You know, but Jordan got less athletic, you know, but his fadeaway, you know what I'm saying? That's the way skills work. So yeah, nah, man, like, so do I think today's players are more skilled on average? No, I don't think so. And I think IQ is down. And I feel like that's part of being skill based.
Yeah,
is IQ, and like I said,
the understanding of the game is definitely down compared to the great players of before. So
so that's what I'm saying. So like, I think the players of yesteryear were more skilled. When you think of skilled players of yesteryear, there hasn't been, like he's bringing up Hakeem. There hasn't been anybody, a big man as skilled as Hakeem. There's people that come close, that try to. Like, people talk about Embiid. Right now, Wemby has a chance. But then if you put the film of Wemby next to Hakeem, it's going to look crazy. Like, it's going to look absolutely insane, you know? Tim Duncan is somebody who is one of the most skilled players to ever play in the NBA. He's just not athletic. He like, talk about somebody that's pure skill and no athletics. Tim Duncan is a perfect example.
Draymond Green would get ejected every single game he had.
There's no way that Draymond Green would last 4 quarters on the same court as Dennis Rodman. That's insanity.
He would want to fight Dennis Rodman way so fast. Like by the second quarter, he'd be ready to fight Dennis Rodman every single game they had to play.
Hey, did you see the clip of All the Smoke when they was talking to Sean Kemp?
Yeah.
He was like, Jordan didn't beat us. He was riding with that motherfucker. He was like flying and blowing kisses and shit. Like we said, flying, winking, blowing kisses and shit. I was like, what? Hey, look.
Like, I mean, like this is a pause, but I ain't doing. But this is probably something that Rodman would do. Rodman would probably pinch Draymond's butt and then go for the rebound. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and the person that Draymond is can't let that go. He
like,
can't.
You know what I mean? Like, what you gonna do about that, dog? Like,
get ejected? That's what he's gonna do. That's what he's gonna do, man. Like, man, the type of head games, pause, that Rodman was playing out there, the type of mind games he was playing. Nah,
yeah,
man. Draymond probably wouldn't even make it out the first quarter, Mark. That shit would. I'll be honest with you, he wouldn't make it out the first quarter.
Nah, man. Yeah. But I could tell you one person that didn't make it out of 5 rounds. Yeah. And unfortunately, that was Israel Adesanya. I'm not a fan of Israel, but I was rooting for Israel in this one. Israel went up against Duplessis. Duplessis came out on top. But before the fight, Duplessis was saying that he's the real African. Like he said, I'm the real African. I'm from Africa. I'm born there, raised there. I fight out of Africa, and I'm going to go home back to Africa. It's fine, I guess, but it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, because if you haven't already guessed by Duplessis's name, he's not your traditional African-looking man. He is South African, and as a lot of us know, South Africa had apartheid up until the 1980s. And
John, I'm gonna let you know. Word to Rob Parker is wild. Words of Rob Parker is wild. That man, I'm not gonna I don't like Izzy, but I'm not gonna let you do that. That man RG3 was deep throwing a fucking croissant, man, and then got fired the next day.
Yo, I don't even understand that firing, dog.
ESPN is stupid.
I do not understand. Like, he was like, was there a caption under the croissant? Like, what was happening?
No, from what everybody knows, the people within ESPN don't know why he got fired, and it couldn't have been for the croissant, man. But how about this? Let's talk about that. It's not a topic that we were going to talk about, but let's talk about the RG3 shit afterwards, because I do want to talk about the ESPN situation.
Okay.
Yeah, but go ahead. Yeah, continue what you were saying. You know, the apartheid, South Africa stuff. What's his name? It's out of pocket. Duplessis. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So a comment from a white man talking about he's the real African. And meanwhile, we, the people, understand how you got to Africa was from a place of conquering and destroying homes and families, and staying there at a point of power of treating not you personally, because obviously it wasn't you personally, but just the people that came there before you, like your people before you, from a place of just destroying homes and families and destroying the lives of people and keeping them separate and treating them as less than, and you saying you're the real African doesn't sit right with a lot of people. So this was one that I was rooting for Izzy, even though I thought that he was going to lose this fight the whole time. But and that's exactly what happened. Izzy gets submitted. Um, first time he was ever submitted. Um, and has in the past has been very great with his ground game defense. This one, not so much. How you feel about this fight, Sean? How you feel about how it went down, and how you feel about Izzy's his future? Because he's saying he's not retiring.
Yeah. So real quick, what weight class was that? Middleweight.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a big deal, Mark. He hasn't lost a middleweight fight. He's only lost to Pereira, essentially, in the middleweight division. So it's kind of a big deal that he lost the fight. You know what I'm saying? Considering this wasn't a light heavyweight. You know, I felt like he had a good fight up until that point. But Mark, we kind of talked about it when he lost his last fight. It seemed as though Izzy didn't really seemed like something changed in him, man. The man started talking about his family and all this other stuff. Like,
he got real introspective.
Really.
And that was another thing that kind of threw that in this fight. Like, he was even introspective in this fight prior to the fight coming up.
Yeah, he was.
Like he was crying, like he not crying, but like he was emotionally fueled to the point where tears was coming down his eyes.
Yeah.
While talking about his mom and dad and family.
Yeah, because he asked him if the Butlers was going to be coming too or whatever, and he really hit him. It really hit him in the heart, apparently, and he showed a level of vulnerability that he usually doesn't show. Right, Mark? And this is what I say about people, no, specifically about fighters like him. We've seen this to a greater degree with Ronda Rousey. Part of why they're able to do what they do is the arrogance, right? That unwavering confidence that leans towards arrogance.
Yeah.
That whole entire persona. That may even be not who they really are, but that's their fight persona. And the people that have that persona, typically, if they fall off of that horse, if they fall off of that high horse, they typically don't get back on it. They usually don't get back. Like, we've seen it with Anderson Silva. We've seen it with Ronda Rousey. These type of people, when they lose, Mark, when they truly lose, they don't get it back. And to me, it seemed like he was a different person in the pre-fight interview that you're talking about. It seemed like even when he got submitted, he just I'll be honest with you, it didn't look like he was fighting. It didn't look like he put up much of a fight, man. When he got his back taken, he just kind of let it happen, you know, and then he just quickly tapped. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's the same person in the ring anymore, mentally. Right. So some people might just be like, "Oh, he lost the fight, whatever." Mark, I think this is, from here on out, we are going to see a different Adesanya than we've seen in the past. Now, granted, I think of Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva was still great when he after his loss. He was no longer. You no longer knew for a fact that he was going to win the fight. He was no longer dominant. He was far from the dominance that he displayed after that fight. And I just feel like that's what we're about to see with Izzy coming up in the future. Real quick note. Duplessis was born in 1994, Mark. Okay, I'm going to look up exactly when he was born. January 1994. 3 months after he was born is when apartheid officially ended.
Yeah.
And that's so when you talk about the apartheid part of the conversation, That's very important to know.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
dude,
like him being there is
yeah,
it's a direct thing, man. Like it's
the oppression was still happening when
yes,
you were born. So that's very important. So, like you said, it rubs you the wrong way. It rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I don't want to hear. Let's be honest, and this is not racist at all. A white man from South Africa saying that they're a real African when apartheid was still going on in 1994 after you were born is wild. You
yeah,
have to be you like I said, Mark. I told you this offline, but I'm gonna say it here on the broadcast. I don't believe that anybody that grew up in South Africa is ignorant to the temperature over there.
Looks like you lost another one.
Like, you know exactly what things are. Let's be honest, y'all just got out of apartheid. It's only been 30 years. You just got out of it, man. You gonna tell me that you don't understand that what you're saying is coming off kind of a certain way, kind of privileged? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know exactly what's going on here, man. You funny. Hey, this funny. But yeah, no, for real though. Like, to me, if somebody were to bring this up and if he were to try to play the card of, I don't know nothing about that was before my time. Nah, man, you just playing ignorant now. Everybody that grows up in South Africa, whether you white or black, you understand exactly what it is out there.
yeah.
So,
And just because it officially ended doesn't mean those resentments and sentiment just suddenly disappeared. They existed. So you lived through that temperature and how that felt still. Like,
yeah,
we are still living through that now
it's
here.
still,
Like,
yeah.
so
it has to still be resonating in South
Yeah.
Africa right now. So nah, man, I don't like it at all. I didn't like it. Izzy, we was rooting for you, man. We needed you to put on, for all that's good in the world.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, but nah, I definitely didn't like it. He's out of pocket for it. He can pretend like he doesn't understand what's happening. He can pretend like it was an innocent statement. But we all, like, to me, it just showed me who he is as a person.
Yeah,
Like
man.
you, Mark. If I don't like you as a person like that, I want to see you lose.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to another middleweight champion. I hope he doesn't have the belt long.
Let's just hope he don't lose it to Sean Strickland.
Hey, man. Hey, if he loses to Sean, I'm fine with that too. I don't like Sean either, though. But
Yeah, nah. That's it.
It does not bother me one bit. Hey, you know what? Actually, no. But let's switch gears here, man. Let's take it to the NFL, man. What are some things you guys are looking forward to now that NFL season is right around the corner? We are in the final week of preseason, so NFL is here essentially. There's a lot of news, a lot of guys being moved around. There's some things to look forward to. For instance, Atlanta Falcons defense has gotten significantly stronger, I guess you could say, in this offseason. The addition of Justin Simmons, the addition of Judon. The Falcons had gotten some upgrades during the preseason. What do you think of those upgrades? Because they already had a safety over there that was a baller. Now they got two of them. And with the addition of Judon, what do you think will the Falcons defense will be able to accomplish this season?
Yeah, I honestly think even just watching the Falcons defense last year, there were some spots where they just looked like a top tier defense in the NFL. Obviously, the offense didn't do them any favors last year, but even without the additions, they looked like they could be a top tier, a top 10 defense in the league. Now you talk about the additions on defense, but obviously the changes that have happened on offense as far as getting rid of the you're going to have a whole new offensive system. You're going to have Kirk Cousins running. I mean, as much as we don't think Kirk Cousins is this and don't think Kirk Cousins is that, what I will tell you is he's efficient, especially if you give him weapons. And this is the most weapons that Kirk Cousins has ever had at the same time. So, yeah, man, I think all of that helps the defense. I think that the Falcons, going into the season, considering the division that they're playing in also, they could end the
I don't
season.
think this is the most weapons he's had at one time, but I do think it's comparable to the same amount of weapons that he's had at one time.
I'll give you that. Yeah, but yes, I'll give you that. But with that said, he's I think they're primed to be at the top 5 defense. Like that's probably their max potential, is being the top 5 defense in the NFL. I think that's possible. But at the very least, Mark, I think they're no lower than 10.
10 wins?
I do expect,
You said 10 wins?
No, defense.
Oh,
Top 10. Like they're going to be somewhere between 10 and 5. They're not going to they're going to be one of the best defenses in the league. As far as wins, I can't tell you. I have to look at the schedule.
Let's play a game. Let's look at it right now because
show me how many primetime games they got, Mark. Let's start there. We talk about Kirk Cousins.
Hey, that's exactly where I was going to start.
Like I said, that's why I didn't want to answer. I said I got to look at the schedule.
Week 1, you can pencil that for a win. Time 1 p.m. He's dope at 1 p.m. Week 2 at Philadelphia.
Sunday night game? Monday night game.
Monday night game.
Scrap it.
8:15.
Scrap it.
He's losing that one. He's losing to Kansas City 8:20 game on a Sunday night.
Automatic.
This is not good, sir. And then he has another 1 p.m. game. Ooh. Hey man, if you want to go to Louisiana, tickets is as low as $57.
That's crazy.
And it says tickets is as low as $30 when they play Tampa Bay.
That's crazy.
And that's on a Thursday at 8:15 p.m.
That's a Thursday game too. Yeah.
So that's 3 losses right there.
Yeah. And let's be honest. Let's just be real. I trust Tampa Bay in that situation. It's crazy to say. I trust Baker Mayfield with his current setup right now more than I trust Kirk Cousins in that situation because it's a primetime game. But yeah,
right.
So
he might win his very first primetime game ever on December 16th.
Looks like you lost another one.
Yeah, where's he got? Oh, okay, I see that. You got
the Raiders on December 16th in Las Vegas at 8:30 on a Monday. That might be his first primetime win ever. So, but looking at the rest of the schedule, anybody else that I could see them losing to? Honestly, no. I mean, there's a possibility they lose to Tampa Bay twice, but I don't think they will.
I don't think so.
Yeah, man.
They got some. Like, I think Dallas is a game that they lose. There's a few things.
Hey, man, who knows?
Well, actually, no, you're right.
Jerry Jones might pull out that piece of paper and draw a line down it the same way he did to T.O. and Weapon. Yeah, Dez Bryant. He might draw the same line that he did to them because he told CD, "Hey, we miss you, and I ain't pressed."
Hey, look, let's be honest. The difference in record for the Dallas Cowboys with and without CeeDee Lamb is crazy. I think it's a 5-win difference, Mark. That's just me personally. I don't know what you guys think of it, but I think their offense drastically changes without CeeDee Lamb being there. This isn't the Dallas Cowboys roster that had Cooks and Gallup and all those other receivers there. This is not that same roster, okay? They absolutely need CeeDee Lamb this year. If they don't have CeeDee Lamb, that changes everything for them. But yeah, but all in all, looking at that schedule, yeah, we talking probably 9-8, 10-7 Falcons. Would that be good enough to win the division?
I
They'll,
think
they'll be fighting for the division.
I can only see about 4 to 5 games, so that's more than 9-8. That's like definitively, I can only see 4 to 5 games.
Yeah, so
of the loss. So that'll probably be what I would.
I said 10-7 is still
reasonable. It's
reasonable.
hard to say 10. I can definitely see them being a 10-win team.
Yeah, but saying that just puts them in the battle with Tampa Bay for the division. So yeah, like they could make the playoffs. I mean, but what is that saying? They better make the playoffs. All the moves they made. But I'll say this. Yeah, I'll be watching some Falcons games just to see how that plays out. I'm not really particularly interested in the Falcons like that. I'm a fan of some of their players, man. I like their defense, right? I like AJ Terrell. I like Jesse Bates. I like Bijan. You know, I'm a running back guy, so obviously I love Bijan actually, and I want to see Kyle Pitts with Kirk Cousins. You know, so there's a few things I'll be looking for over there. But am I watching Atlanta Falcons to watch them play? Not really. You know, I'm looking for certain players, but as far as teams that I'm looking to actually be entertained and watch them play, outside of my Niners, there's only 2 teams. I want to see what it looks like with the Ravens with Derrick Henry with the new hip drop tackling rules. Because I think that's a situation to where it's going to be unstoppable, right? And then, but the number 1 team I want to see this year, Mark, is the Houston Texans. Absolutely want to watch the Houston Texans this year. I think it's going to be must-see TV. You're
probably right, man. CJ Stroud in year 2, I'm expecting big things, honestly.
Yeah. I'm talking, he's got the addition of Diggs to already crazy wide receiver. Not crazy, but the receiver room was already pretty good. You add Diggs to that scene, and when you start talking like, Nico Collins is your 3rd receiver, that sounds crazy.
Well, now, see, this is where everybody's getting it messed up. Like, I know Tank Dell is he's the shiny object, but Tank Dell is the 3rd receiver on this offense.
I think he's the 3rd best receiver on the team too.
No, I'm not even necessarily saying he's the 3rd best. I'm saying he is the 3rd receiver. He is wide receiver 3. That is what he is.
Okay.
Like that. And if you go back and watch the second preseason game in the roles where they had the starters out, they basically laid that out. Nico and Stefan was out there for I think 90% of offensive snaps that were the starters, and Tank Dell did 65. I actually have the number here. Just give me a second. But yeah, so Tank Dell is wide receiver 3, but it all the same, him being wide receiver 3 on your team is crazy. And don't forget that they have the addition of Joe Mixon. So now you have a guy who could catch out of the backfield as well. So
and Joe Mixon is a big. Well, people aren't really talking about it, but it's a big deal.
Right.
It's a big deal because we know what he can do we know what he can do running the ball, but like you said, he adds a level of consistency at running back that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
And that opens up a lot of things, especially when you got to worry about that running back going out for passes. So,
yeah, here we go right here. Tank Dell, he only ran a route on 55% of the starter snaps and came off the field in 2 wide receiver sets as Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins played. So
yeah, okay, yeah.
Now
So
it's a small sample size because it's only 17 starter snaps, but
still,
that lets you know.
Yeah, but even then, it's Tank Dell is your 3rd. That's crazy. And I'm saying that's crazy, and I'm saying that in consideration of for CJ Stroud. We saw what he did when it was just Nico and Tank.
Right.
And I felt like he was just making everybody look good at one point in the season.
Yeah, because the third
got
option,
hurt.
when
Yeah.
Tank went down, Noah came in and he destroyed it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like he was making everybody look good. Now you give him that lineup of Diggs, Collins, and Tank, like, and then he still has Dalton. He still has Dalton Schultz there. Like,
Yep, still has Dalton. He still
like
has
it's crazy.
Dalton.
You got Joe Mixon now. Like, shout out to Houston, man. Shout out to D'Amico Ryans. I'm actually gonna put a lot of credit towards D'Amico Ryans. He seems like they gave him an opportunity to be the head coach, and he went there and he said he was going to be timid. Mark,
Hey man,
he's
no,
asking for what he wants, and he's getting it.
no. The real shout out goes to Lovie Smith.
Okay,
Without Lovie Smith winning that last game, Houston drafts Bryce Young.
that's crazy.
That's a
Yeah,
fact.
here's the thing about it. You might be right. He said thanks to Lovie Smith not wanting to tank.
Yeah, they draft Bryce Young and now they miss out on the best quarterback in the draft. But because they lost that game, Lovie Smith saved them from themselves.
Yeah, I mean, didn't save his job. They said, boy, you better lose
Yeah.
that game. He out there trying to win, but
Didn't
But
save
yeah.
his job, but
yeah,
saved the team.
yeah, exactly. But shout out to Lovie Smith, man. But yeah, you're right. But yeah, no, absolutely. That's the team I want to watch the most. You got any other teams you kind of peeking at, looking at to see what happens? Because I have teams that I'm watching for destruction. Might
I'm
sound like
watching-
paper shit, but
I am watching the Bears because I don't believe in Caleb Williams, but I'm open to being wrong. I am open to being wrong, and I've realized with Caleb Williams what it is. Like Caleb Williams reminds me a lot of Karl Anthony Towns. He reminds me a lot of Karl Anthony Towns. Like all the skills in the world, and then but like you just see something and you're like, this ain't it.
I have questions about your levels of dedication and passion.
Well, not even necessarily levels of I don't know if it's necessarily levels of dedication and passion as much as it, like, do you have that grit that says like F all this, like I'm about to take over. You know what I mean? Like that. Do you have, for lack of a better term, do you have that dog in you?
So let's just say resiliency, right? When the shit gets tough, do you have the ability to push through and take your game to another level? Because that's a difference between certain guys. Certain guys, they don't just get the job done when things get hard. They elevate. We watched Joe Burrow elevate. We watched Patrick Mahomes elevate. Especially with no receivers this past season. We've seen Lamar Jackson elevate. We've seen certain guys elevate, right? That's the question. Can you elevate your game when the going gets tough? And to your point, Mark, and to Robert's point right there, we didn't see that at USC, and that's a cause for concern. Not only did he not elevate his game, I felt like his game either remained stagnant or it dropped in those moments. Almost not to say that the moment was too big, because that's not exactly what it felt like. I can't really quite put my thumb on it. But I can honestly say that I watched those games and I'm expecting to see the moments like a moment like what he had when he was at Oklahoma, and we never saw that. We didn't see those in the big games at USC.
Yeah, and also, but like I said, I'm open to being wrong, and because the team is surrounded by him, that's another guy that has nothing but talent around him. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, like he has Cole Kmet, like he has the guys. He has the guys that will get him that he should thrive with. Now that offensive line, that offensive line may be a question mark. The ability to scheme the offensive line is a question mark for the Chicago Bears coach, because but we'll see, man. I'm looking forward to just watching him this season and doing a little bit of a comparison on between him and Justin Fields over in Pittsburgh, like, because it's a new situation for Justin Fields, and I want to see what happens there. I mean, we'll see who gets the start in Pittsburgh, but I do want to be able to make that direct comparison to find out if Justin Fields was the problem or if the coach was the problem. I want to know. But also Bryce Young last year shat the bed. He was awful. Like people think that team was awful, but I watched him make terrible passes that were 5 yards away from him. Like, and that's not an exaggeration. I really watched him make 5-yard passes and miss them. So. Yeah, I want to see more for Bryce Young. Like I'm actually looking forward to a lot of teams that aren't the Eagles, just to see how they respond to last year, or to see how they respond to the criticism that they're currently getting. And we all know that I'm definitely looking forward to the Eagles. This is one thing that I was saying to Sean earlier. I was like, I realized how I am a fanatic for the Eagles. I'm not a fanatic for anyone else. I don't really care. Like, I try to keep grounded and level-headed in my fandom of anyone, but when it comes to the Eagles, I can feel my brain fight, my logic fighting against my fanhood. And what's funny about it is because, like, this, in case you guys don't know or haven't been paying attention, the big to-do news out of Eagles camp currently is the fact that Jalen Hurts has thrown over 300 pass attempts. And, like, they're not all completions, but 300 pass attempts with no interceptions. Highly impressive. Now, mind you, this is all in camp. He hasn't played in a single preseason game. But they did have the joint practice with the Patriots, and he didn't throw an interception in that neither. But that's a little concerning for me. It's a little concerning for me because of the defense. I'm afraid our defensive scheme isn't good enough to put the players in position to be able to make a play on the ball. And knowing Vic Fangio's defensive stylings of bend but don't break makes a lot of sense to me, that these guys are playing off the ball and they aren't in positions to make a play to get an interception. Meanwhile, Kellen Moore's offense is predicated on motions, having check downs everywhere and everything. So if you're playing off the ball to make sure that your guys don't get beat over the top, you're leaving a bunch of check downs to be able to go for 20 yards because the run after the catch or whatever. Like, and I've seen this many times before in the Vic Fangio style defense, which is why I don't like it. And this time, Vic Fangio is our actual defensive coordinator. And I look at all the talent that the Eagles defense has, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, your Sidney Brown is coming back. We have Isaiah Rodgers, Darius Slay, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Devin White, who's looking to make a point this year. You know what I mean? The Kobe Dean, who's looking to make a point this year. Like, we have all these players that are hungry on defense, and that's stuff that should have me excited. But then I think I don't like the defensive scheme, but I'm fighting against the fact that I hate the defensive scheme. But I love these players and this team, and the fanhood wants me to be like, nah, be wrong about how you feel about this, and just go all in and root for the Eagles. But I can't. But the other side of me is like, don't go out like Sean. Don't go out like Sean. Don't go out saying your team going to win a Super Bowl, knowing damn well they don't have no shot of winning no Super Bowl. Don't do that. Don't do that.
At the end of the day, I'm a fan, Mark. And I think at the end of the day, I'm a fan. Okay? And that's the part that I think you're afraid of. Because you know that if that's how you feel, at the end of the day, you're a fan, then you know heartache is right around the corner, Mark. You know it. That's why you don't want to give into it. So I get it. You know what? You don't want to end up like me? I can respect that, Mark. I can respect that. But with everything said, I'm good where I'm at. Take the good with the bad, Mark. When you're a fan.
You a fan?
No, not that kind of fan. Not that kind of fan. Absolutely not that kind of fan. But yeah, real quick.
Hey, Jim Schwartz was a Philly defensive coordinator before when we won the Super Bowl, and we were using a Vic Fangio style defense at the time because that's what he was told to do. But you feel it?
Yeah. So, I wanted to talk about I wanted to mention something. I'm trying to see if I've seen that comment. Man, I can't find it. Anyways, forget it. But but one of the points I was gonna make was the Bills. Mm-hmm. Remember I said some teams I'm just watching for destruction. Mark, I feel like I'm right about Josh Allen. And I feel like a lot of people are in denial about Josh Allen. And I feel like now that he won't have Diggs, this year is looking at the roster that they have. They're putting a lot on Josh Allen this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting a lot on Josh Allen this year, and I 1,000% believe you have James Cook there, man. You can use him. They're not going to, Mark. And I want to see the moment that they either just continue to lean on Josh Allen and he continues to be himself, or, which I will be happy with seeing that. I will be happy with seeing Josh Allen throw 16 to 18 picks. But you know what also would make me happy, Mark, is watching them go lose a couple of back-to-back games and then having them win a game because they gave James Cook 30 touches. Because all of it leads to the same conclusion, Mark. Josh Allen ain't what you thought he was. Okay? So maybe that makes me a hater, Mark. But I'm okay with that. Okay? Because I don't feel like I know where my feelings are coming from. It's not coming from hate. It's not coming from a place of hate. It's coming from a place of I've been honest about what I've been seeing from Josh Allen, and people are accusing me of hate. So I just want to feel vindicated. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for vindication, Mark, when we were watching the Bills games this year. So I feel like vindication is right around the corner.
Hey, all right. Don't know. We see what will happen, though.
Thank you. He is not the same without Brian Daboll. But if you go back to our broadcast during that time, me and Mark had these conversations. And we said that we felt like he was a big part of Josh Allen's success, especially when you talk about the efficiency. The man has been wildly inefficient since Brian Daboll left. So,
here's the thing, man. Here's another reason why to be interested in watching them, and not necessarily for the destruction, but just to see if it was truly Stephon Diggs that was the reason why you were hyper targeting, or is that just your style of play? You find a guy that you like and you hyper target them. Like, we'll see. We'll see what it was. If it was like you just trying to keep your wide receiver one happy, or if it was, hey, this is who you are, bro. So we'll find out.
We will find out, Mark. And I'll tell you this.
And if you guys are smart out there, you fantasy guys, I hate to give away my strategy, but if you fantasy guys are smart out there, Keon Coleman, man, better be on the lookout for him.
Yeah. So real quick, you talk about hyper targeting, right? I think that's the difference between that. Would at least show me that maybe Josh Allen does have some greatness in him, because certain quarterbacks, they're able to hyper target anybody. And I'm saying that kind of loosely, but you know what I mean, Mark. Like, some quarterbacks, it don't matter if you're Devontae Adams or Cordero Patterson, right? If they're a great quarterback and they decide they want to get you the ball, they can just get you the ball. And if he's able to do that with Keon Coleman, then that'll at least let me know that he is a little better than I thought he was. So I will respect, if Josh Allen comes out here and he shows me something, I will respect it. So I'm not a complete hater. Oh God, yeah. So that's what I'm on bear. So yeah, he said Rob says the man got Daniel Jones $40 million a year. That's not a flex.
Yeah.
That's not a flex.
He didn't get Daniel Jones a year, $40 million a year. That was the previous GM. The previous GM did that, and he was fired. And now we got this dude. Not very good either.
Let's be real, man. Let's be real, man. Like, don't put that on my boy. I like Brian Daboll, man. Don't put that on my boy. You know what I'm saying? And then he said, okay, Rob also says he's watching the Giants games too, but to pray for Malik Neighbors. Look, man, I feel really sorry for the young fellow. He doesn't look excited. I know he's going to have a long-ass season. People are going to start trying to call him a bust because Daniel Jones can't get him the ball. Like, I feel sorry for him in the sense of there's no room for development for him there, Mark. There's absolutely no room for development. When was the last time the Giants developed a wide receiver?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time the Giants developed a wide receiver?
Well, I guess if you want to say Odell, but
Odell stopped developing the second that Eli Manning retired.
Huh?
Odell stopped developing the second that Eli Manning retired.
So I don't know, man.
I'll leave that alone. Giants fans, y'all already got enough to deal with. Y'all got to sit there. Y'all got to sit through Hard Knocks.
No,
y'all got to sit there and watch the GM burn the fucking franchise down to the ground. So, like, you know what? I'll leave y'all alone for now.
Speaking of Hard Knocks, new episode of Hard Knocks for the Chicago Bears comes on tonight, I believe. So I'll be looking forward to episode 3 tonight. Episode 1 and 2 was pretty good, man. Good insights into the team, as they always are. Hard Knocks is a gem for sure. The only Hard Knocks version I don't really care for is the in-season one. The Hard Knocks off-season is dope, and Hard Knocks training camp is dope. Yeah. That in-season one, I don't care for that. I think it's a distraction to whatever team is doing it. Like, I think in season you don't want cameras following you all the time.
You're disrupting your routine, man. So if you ever played football, I played sports, but football's different. Like, it's very superstitious. You got your routine, you do everything a certain way. Like, you don't want a camera crew around that. Real quick, I got a couple questions for you. I'm gonna start off with number one. How do you feel about this new way that they're going about Hard Knocks? It seems like they're going to continue this where they now do 3 parts. They have an off-season team, they have a camp team, and then they have an in-season team. Do you like the new format, and how do you feel about the off-season, since that's the newest part?
Like I said, I enjoy the off-season one. I enjoy the training camp one. I enjoy the off-season. I enjoy the OG. I don't care for the in-season one. Actually haven't even watched a single episode of the in-season one because I'm just against it following the teams during that period.
Yeah. So I was gonna say the off-season one didn't know that I was gonna enjoy it that much, Mark.
Yeah. Well,
But
I think it's only good because
it's a train wreck.
Because of watching, like, it's only great because it was the Giants and how much of a train wreck they are. I think if you are watching a well-ran, efficient machine, it would be somewhat boring.
But you do know, so you do know there's like qualifications that the teams have to meet in order for them to be considered for the Hard Knocks.
No.
They have to be like they have to be in the bottom 4th of teams as far as record wise. They have to there's a few other things in it, but essentially, first and foremost, they have to be a bad team, right? So they have to be one of the bottom 8 teams in the league. So but that gives me hope, Mark, that we can watch another train wreck of an organization next year. Because this year's the Giants. Next year, it could be the Chargers, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It could be the Jaguars next year. I think that I am, as much as I enjoy the OG Hard Knocks, which is the camp, I'll be honest with you. It doesn't matter which team they do. They could take a Super Bowl winning team and do the camp. I think that's intriguing no matter what. But for the offseason, absolutely. I'm ready to watch another train wreck organization. Please make it the Jaguars. Please make it the Jaguars or the Chargers next year. Just please.
Yeah,
Washington would be dope. Washington would be amazing.
Chargers aren't a very good franchise.
Yeah, I want to see. You know how you see teams make moves, Mark, and you just like, man, I wonder what they were thinking, man. What were they thinking? Are these dudes just idiots? And then, for the first time in my life, Mark, it was proven to me that they were. And I was like, damn, this is wild. We get to see the thought process, and the thought process is as idiotic as I thought it was. So I enjoy it. I enjoy the train wreck that is. Look, women, y'all got Real Housewives of Atlanta. We got Hard Knocks off season.
Yeah,
Right?
man. We'll see what actually ends up happening.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think that's pretty much it for this episode, man.
I did want to bring up the ESPN thing real quick. I want to talk about it real quickly. So you guys know ESPN fired RG3 this week. Seemingly nobody knows why. There's a clip floating around of Paul Feinbaum being asked the question when he's doing his call-in, when he's having the fans call in or whatever, listeners call in, and he was asked a question about it, and he basically said, look, man, he was honest about it. He said he thought he didn't understand the firing. He thought the RG3 was great for college football when it comes to what he was doing. And he said he hasn't even heard whispers around the building about why he was fired. So it's crazy to me, Mark, because I feel like when you remove the team of Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit from College Game Day, right? Granted, he's doing a great job. It's not Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit, man. It's not the same, man. You do stuff like that, right? And it changes. It's a big cultural change Like when I say cultural, not ESPN culture, like college football culture. This is part of it's ingrained in for example, John Madden back in the day doing announcing, or Jerry the King Lawler for WWE. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of ingrained in it. You remove them, then finally there's a bright light that comes that's RG3, and they decide for no particular reason. They didn't give any explanations. They didn't say anything. They just fired him, Mark. It seems like ESPN has just continually been going down this road of shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to having a good thing going. So I guess my question to you, Mark, is how long is it before the ESPN just hits rock bottom?
I think within the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I think they know. I think the way I feel about ESPN from different things that have read, it feels as though that they don't understand the audience of today, and they don't understand which way it's moving. The only good thing that they have going currently, this is just my personal opinion, and I'm different than everybody else. Other people may love everything that they do, but the only thing that I truly like that they have going on is the Pat McAfee show and College Game Day. And College Game Day also features Pat McAfee. So, like, essentially the only thing they have going on that is worth anything is Pat McAfee. And I enjoyed Robert Griffin because of there was an honesty in glibness to the way that he reported things. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was being honest about it, and he was also bringing in a little bit of humor to it and stuff. Like there was, and it didn't feel like it was at the expense of other people.
Yes.
It didn't feel like it was at the expense of another player necessarily. Like it was like more so talking about the situation versus talking about the person. I don't know, but that's just how it felt to me. It wasn't like for instance, like I didn't feel like how Skip Bayless would talk about Russell Westbrook or whatever like that. Like Like I didn't feel like or at your attempt of being funny or whatever you're attempting, you're attacking a person. Stephen A. Smith has a tendency to do that, or he had a tendency to do that in the past. I don't know how much he does that now because I don't really watch him anymore.
Yeah, he did it more in the past. Now he likes to double back and play both sides. He's really weird, man. But like you said, RG3 was something that was good because I thought he was the perfect person for a platform like ESPN. The things that we love about Pat McAfee is going to do Pat McAfee. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there's things that I disagree with him on, especially everything involving Aaron Rodgers. But Pat McAfee is somebody who he's going to tell you how he really feels, right? And we like that. We like that. He's humorous. We like that. Okay? It's refreshing. And he has refreshing takes. He finds a way to entertain us with what he's saying without feeling clickbaity.
Right.
ESPN sometimes feels clickbaity. We talk about Stephen A. Smith on First Take, and I feel like you're intentionally saying things just to get a rise out of people. Like, you can't possibly believe that. You're just saying something controversial just to be controversial for views. And I feel like we get a certain level of a genuine personality from Pat McAfee. So it's just weird to me that everything that we love about Pat McAfee, all of the characteristics that he had, I feel like RG3 had those characteristics. And on one side, you see them loving Pat McAfee. and then on the other side, you see them, firing RG3, and for ESPN, you want to be safe. You want to be, universally friendly. RG3 knew how to toe that line of adult jokes, innuendo, and still keeping it kid friendly. You know what I'm saying? Reminds me of the first time I watched Shrek. They found that line where they can make the adult jokes in a way to where the kids don't understand what's going on, but as an adult you can enjoy the movie. So I feel like RG3 is that guy, and I think that's perfect for a brand that is Disney related and is in that type of realm. And I feel like you had the perfect guy and you just fired him. So I don't. At this point, I just think there's a level of incompetence that exists within ESPN when it comes to, like you said, being able to connect with the people and the fans and the people that actually watch the shows and are into sports. They have no clue. They're so disconnected at this point. In speaking directly about their downfall, you said give them a couple years, Mark. But I think what these networks need to understand is this. It's funny that Rob mentioned Jeff Bezos wanting to buy the Celtics. Jeff Bezos not playing with y'all, bro. Jeff Bezos wants in on all of the sports broadcasting. Okay? He just took a chunk of the NBA. He already got a piece of the NFL. He's coming for baseball next. If you don't think he wants to be ESPN, he wants to be. Okay, he wants to be the worldwide leader of sports. Okay, Jeff Bezos is coming, man.
Well, he's coming for media in general. With
yes. And if you guys ain't paying attention, if you guys leave a little crack in the window, you leave the door propped open a little bit, he's coming in, man. Like we've already seen it. Did anybody see the basketball thing coming? I didn't. Okay? But I'm just saying. So, yes, I agree with you. ESPN is about 2 to 3 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're such a big brand and they're like the OG brand, they'll last an extra year. But their time is coming, Mark, and it's coming soon.
Yeah. All right, man. Is there anything else?
That's it.
All right, well, we appreciate you guys, as always. He said those Caitlin Clark tweets couldn't save him.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we appreciate you guys for watching us, checking us out. As always, great turnout tonight. Just want to say thank you for watching. Like, subscribe as always. Share it to your friends. Hopefully somebody... Hey man, you got a little boo thing that came over for the sneaky link. Make her sit down and watch with you. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe she become a fan. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But one thing, as always, man, remember this: it's always entertainment. This is always sports entertainment. So when you out there making your bets, just think to yourself, how does this best benefit the league? And when you figure that out, that's where your bets should align. And be safe out there, man. Anything else you got?
Hey, heed those words, man. Make some safe bets out there.
Safe bets is the best bet.
Yeah. You know what it is.
Yeah.
All right.
I was about to make a play on the Lil Wayne line, but I decided not to.
Well, yes. Well, you're Mr. Music quote guy. I'm just a movie quote guy. So,
all right. But I appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Peace.
All right.